Those are my giant ice balls. Welcome back to Pinterest Problems. For today's Pinterest Problem project, we are going to be making ice balls. Yes, balls made of ice. I have seen these all over the internet. They've also been labeled as ice luminaries, ice gems, but I like ice balls the best, so we're gonna go with that. The supplies that we need to make this are pretty simple. Balloons, food coloring, scissors, water, and the outdoors. And by outdoors I mean a cold climate. You obviously cannot make these outside if you don't live somewhere that's cold. So if you don't live in a cold climate like I do, well, according to the pin, you need to, so you're out of luck on this one. The directions for this pin are pretty simple. All they say is to fill balloons with water, add food coloring, once frozen, cut the balloons off. Easy enough, let's go. So we're gonna add the food dye to our balloon and then attempt to put it on this faucet. I don't know how much food dye to use, it doesn't say, so that looks good. Oh gosh, I've been done this since my last boyfriend. Okay, I'm really scared that this is gonna fall off and go everywhere. I don't know how I'm gonna turn the water off. Can you turn it off? I was too afraid to let go, so I had somebody else turn off the water. Tie it in the sink. First one done. I'm gonna make another one, but this time I'll try to make it a little bigger. And the food coloring seems like it's just settling in one spot where I put it. So we'll see what that looks like once it freezes. So far so good. I've made 2 balloons so far, and I don't really know how big I can make these without them bursting. We're just gonna keep making a couple more. Let's see. This one, whoa! These some sort of beads? I don't know if this one will work. What is this? Okay, this one really reminds me of my ex-boyfriend. It's like a bunny balloon. Or something else? Well, I did get these balloons from the dollar store. They gave me 2 of these. Now I have 2 ex-boyfriends. A hard time filling up. I'm getting really hot. I'm starting to sweat. This might be the biggest one I've made so far. I have made 4 giant balloons. Let's take these outside where it's like seriously negative 20 degrees with the wind chill right now. Let them freeze and then we will see what they turned out like. Put these down. We have a Pinterest problem. This balloon pops the instant I put it on the ground. Try to soften the grass here a little bit so it's not so sharp. It's a narwhal. We're gonna let these sit out here, come back tomorrow and check out what they turned out like. It's been about 24 hours that we've let these sit outside and freeze, so now it's time to cut off the balloons. It's leaking! my scale of 1 being a Pinterest problem and 10 being Pinterest perfect, I'm giving this project a 4. Even though this project had very few directions, it was not as easy as it seemed. We had a good amount of Pinterest problems that happened along the way. One problem that we had was not knowing exactly where to put these down to freeze. I chose to put them down on the grass because where I live right now, we either have sharp ice or chunky sharp snow, so I thought the ground was best, but as you saw, my very first one that I put down popped. So ideally, I don't know what the best place would be. If you maybe have some like fresh fallen snow, you could choose to put them down on that. Another Pinterest problem that I encountered was not knowing how much food coloring to use. They don't say how much to use in this pin, so I just guessed and put 3 to 6 drops in each of mine depending on how big they were. You can see that some of them turned out and held the color while others didn't, so I just say the more the better. Another Pinterest problem that I encountered was when I cut off the balloons from the ice, some of the food coloring got onto my gloves and kind of stained them. So as a suggestion, I would say use black gloves while doing this because you will ruin them. I think the biggest Pinterest problem that I encountered was not knowing how big to make them. In what I pinned, of course, the directions were so short, so I tried to make them various sizes to see which one would work best. And it seemed like the bigger I made them, the worse they turned out. The bigger they were, the less they seemed to keep their shape. So my biggest ones, even though they were round at first, as they froze, they just kind of went from round to like blobby. So it seems like maybe trying to make them smaller works the best. The biggest ones that I made were the size of like cantaloupes or small watermelons, and then the smaller ones that I made that were actually kind of jokes since the balloons were shaped really funny, those I'd say were about the size of a grapefruit. Along the same lines of the sizes, a problem that I encountered was the bigger they were, the less that the bottom seemed to freeze. And I don't think that it's a problem with the temperature where I live. When I froze them, it was about 0 degrees outside. And as you saw, when I took the balloon off and lifted them up, all the water just came gushing out the bottom. Also, a problem that I noticed was on my 3 bigger ones that I made, instead of freezing as a nice dome shape at the top, there was like this weird air bubble. So it froze like flat instead of dome shaped. So if you try these, let me know how they turned out. What did you do? How big did you make yours? How much food coloring did you use? And how did you let them freeze? The cost of this Pinterest project was $2. So even though it didn't work out that well, I didn't spend a lot of money trying to make it. And I do have a lot of balloons and food coloring left over, so if I really feel like trying it again, I do have a lot of supplies left. Gizmo, what do you think of the ice balls? You don't approve? I didn't think so. If you liked this video and want to see more, subscribe to my channel. If you've seen something on Pinterest that you want me to try, leave a comment for me down below and maybe it will be what I make in my next video. And most importantly, keep on pinning. See you in my next video. Bye!